Cool. So, hi, Amy. Could you just like introduce yourself to the audience?
Hello, I'm Amy Leake, otherwise known as Woodmongler on Instagram.
Great. What is a mungler?
I don't know, I think it's crossed between a bungler and a monger, you know, like someone who sells things, like a fishmonger or ironmonger.
Yeah. Right, yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of the idea.
Nice. Cool. And so you're a spoon carver, you're carving a spoon right now.
I am, yes, I left it out. Blank I axed out yesterday, it's quite stupidly. I didn't put it in a plastic bag, so it's gone a bit tough.
So do you usually carve start to finish, or do you tend to break the process up?
I always have a batch on the go.
Okay.
Been many. This is just 3 of them. But yeah, just work through the batch until they're done. If I'm working on one at a time, I tend to just kind of faff about and lose, like not be able to see clearly what I need to do next.
Okay.
So if I've got a few on the go, then once I start faffing, I'll put that one down and move on to the next one, which I can, by that point, I can see it with clearer eyes.
How do you know when you're starting to faff?
Oh, just when you're like looking at it and you're going, do they need a bit of that side or that side? You know, it's that, isn't it?
and like, do you try and keep your like a time limit to how long you're spending, or is it not as structured as that for you?
No, it's not as structured as that.
Yeah.
A bit hopeless at keeping track of how long I've spent on things, but yeah, I'm trying to get a bit better. But I've always got too many things on the go. So yeah, I've got a pile of stuff here, half-finished bowls, pedals that have been ordered.
Pedals?
Pedals.
Oh,
pedals.
Right.
Yeah, for weaving.
Oh, okay. That's a new word for me.
Yeah. So this one that is actually finished, and it is mine. This was a Christmas present to myself, this one. If I can show you. It's still attached.
Nice. Yeah, I think my buddy Derek ordered one of those off of you.
Oh, he had a little bird one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then this is kind of like the next stage, next level stuff. We're doing patterns.
Cool.
Yeah, well, they're fun. I had fun going down a rabbit hole of researching those kind of over Christmas, looking at all the digital museums. Yeah, and getting to using them. That's good.
Are those heddles, are they typical to a certain time period, or have they been used like since forever?
Kind of Scandinavian and Baltic. I think since about the 1700s.
Okay.
More popular, but actually, someone commissioned one for me to replace a Roman replica one they're using at the moment.
Oh wow!
And so that got me into looking at those. Yeah, so there are Roman ones. So who knows? I could go back even further than that.
So aside from the heddle, what have the Romans done for us?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And do you do a lot of like historical replication in your woodworking? So you mentioned like you were researching these. Like other things that you make research from historical examples, or more of your own design?
No, yeah, that'd be good to kind of get into that, because then you could help tap into that whole reenactors market. No, I don't really. I like looking at old stuff, but I don't tend to really replicate them.
Yeah.
Very much, you know, or just take one idea from them, or take them as a starting point rather than kind of reproduce old designs.
Yeah. What do you think the disconnect is there if you enjoy looking at historical items, but you haven't found yourself replicating them? Is there a reason for?
Reenactors kind of get into one time period, don't they?
Yeah. And
really going the whole hog and dressing up and all that kind of business, which I haven't. I'm not really interested in dressing up and pretending to be an olden days person. But you know, the craft's still relevant today, isn't it? So I don't want to kind of put it back in the past.
Right.
Yeah. Have you ever been tempted? Dress up? Get silly hat.
Well, yeah, I really want capes to come back into fashion just so I can like wear a blanket. And I mean, I look enough like an extra out of Lord of the Rings without me wearing a cape anyway, so I tend to avoid it.
What time period would that be?
Oh, I don't know. When we're like, yeah, when we're capes, like I don't really want to like stuff my socks to make my calves look bigger, so they're kind of like 1700s are out. It would probably be more kind of medieval.
And
But
you probably have a top piece as well, wouldn't you?
yeah, probably. Yeah, just you stuff in socks somewhere, no matter what.
It's like,
Yeah, yeah. I remember going on a school field trip and seeing the suit of armor that Henry VIII had for himself with
oh, yeah.
that massive codpiece sticking out. And it's like, yep, not compensating for anything there, mate.
No.
Yeah. Wow, we're like 15 minutes in and we're already talking about dicks. This is, yeah. Might have to edit that out.
No.
So you made an interesting point there that like some people will view this as like olden days stuff. So what do you think is like the relevance of handcraft in today's world?
Oh, I don't even know where to start with that. Goodness me. Well, if you're doing it, it's so many things, isn't it? It's learning knife skills. Kind of felt like a really vital thing that I should have learned when I did actually pick up a knife and learn to use it.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, you know, like you should be able to tie your laces and use a pair of scissors and chop vegetables. It just felt like an essential skill. Yeah, and like I really like the whole start to finish process. So I like that, you know, quite often it's a log that I've got from a friend with a wood who's had to take down a tree or something like that. You know, I know where the wood's come from.
Yeah.
And you through the whole process from start to finish. Yeah, that really feels like a big thing to me.
Yeah, that's definitely something that's lacking where like so often we're working jobs where we're only like participating in part of a process without seeing the whole thing from beginning to end.
And kind of as a teenager, I'd done, you know, kind of sewing and knitting, bit of that.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. But then you can't do the whole process unless you have your own flock of sheep and spin the wool. And, you know, yeah. That's the crazy. Well, I think more people are getting into spinning and dyeing wool and all that kind of thing as well. But yeah, or if you're sewing, you're buying the fabric.
Right. Yeah, I think that's something that's fairly unique about especially green woodworking, because we have to use wood that's fresh. We're often sourcing it ourselves. Like you can't go down to the like I don't know, like Home Depot here. I can't remember, B&Q. That's what it is in the UK. You can't go down there and
Do they actually sell proper bits of wood in your kind of DIY shops over there?
No, it's all dimensional lumber.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crappy bits of pine.
Yeah. Same as here.
And so like it helped build community. Like, so do you have a friend who has a woodland who sometimes cuts down trees?
Yeah, I do. Although obviously this year I haven't been able to see people very much at all.
Yeah.
It's sad. Yeah, I've run out of bowl turning wood at the moment, but hopefully I'll get some more soon.
Yeah, and so
contact. Yeah, farmer who's taking down some trees.
So you turn on a spring pole lathe, which is this thing that I've got behind me here. So how did you do that at the same time as spoons, or did that come after? Like, when did the pole lathe turning happen for you?
Yeah, a while after. Yeah, so spoons are a nice thing to get into, aren't they? Because you don't need a load of kit.
Yeah.
And you're learning about grade and you're learning about species and things like that. Yeah, so it probably wasn't long after I'd kind of gone into spoons that I saw Robin Wood's bowls. I think that's how most people get into pole lathe turning, isn't it?
Yeah.
His bowls, in his blog. but yeah, it took me a while to get around to doing it. I'd done a day of spindle turning, and I didn't really get on with that. It was just the setup of the lathe, I think, was really just not. It was for a tall person with long legs, which I'm definitely.
Yeah.
So just physically, it didn't really work out. So that put me off for a little while. Yeah, so I've probably been spring carving for, I don't know, about 4 years or something before I started bowl turning.
How did you find the transition? Because like when I tried turning my first bowl, it ended up looking like something that got savaged by a beaver. Because and it was very frustrating for me because I was a very competent spoon carver, but then when the wood started spinning, I suddenly had like no idea what to do. So did you transition easily, or was there a bit of a struggle for you as well?
I was absolutely hopeless. I did a day with Sharif to get a day's tuition and just find out if it's something I wanted to get into myself. Yeah. Or, if not, it would have just been a nice experience and end of story.
Yeah.
But I decided that, although I was completely crap at it, I could see that I would get better with time.
Nice.
But then it was a good few months. It might be 6 months before I sorted myself how to lathe.
Yeah.
And so I'd absolutely forgotten everything. And there were no videos online, so I just kind of ended up just muddling through. And my first bowl was shocking, really shocking. But that was okay because I knew my spoons were okay, and I could see how far I'd come with that. So it didn't bother me that my first bowls were awful because I could kind of laugh it off and just see, enjoy that they were quite crap and that they would get better. I did believe they'd get better.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm misremembering here, but I think, didn't you like set yourself a target of something like 50 bowls to make in order to like track your improvement?
Yeah, and I didn't set any time limit on it. Yeah, okay. I set myself I just thought I've got to make 100 bowls.
100 bowls.
And by then they'll either be half decent or they won't, and I'll just make another 100 bowls and then they might be half decent. Without kind of worrying too much about each one.
Okay.
Not comparing, this one's got to be better than the last one. It's just like, it gave me a longer time period.
Yeah.
And I didn't set any time frame to do it in. It was just a case of ticking them off. But yeah, that was really...
How important do you feel that like repetition like that is important to skill development?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's a tricky balance because you want to be improving, but then you've got to not get too stressed out. If you make one and it's not as good as the one before, because sometimes that happens for whatever reason.
Yeah, what is it that keeps you going? So if bowl 32 isn't as good as bowl 31, like how do you get on to bowl 33 then? Like what keeps you going?
Point doing 100.
Yeah.
Was it going to tick off 100 and then see kind of assess where I was. Yeah.
Cool. So there wasn't any judgment on the bowls until bowl 100 was done, and then you could see how you progressed.
Yeah, that was the idea. Yeah,
nice.
Or not be too worried about them along the way. And yeah, kind of imagine that they just would get better generally. Which they I've still got some that I use in the kitchen.
Nice.
Quite a lot went on the fire.
Yep. Fancy firewood.
Yeah, I still make fancy firewood.
We all do.
Yeah. Yeah, so you're doing more cups now than bowls?
Yeah, it's for me, it's because the spring pole lathe is the only thing that can do a handled cup, so out of one piece of wood without doing a lot of carving. And so because I'm carving a lot of stuff, I'm trying to go for scale. I'm doing a lot of repetitive stuff. My forms aren't particularly fancy. I do a lot of very kind of basic shapes, so I can make a lot of them. And if I wanted to make a lot of bowls, I would probably get a powered lathe. But I enjoy not having too many power tools. I have fallen slightly in love with my bandsaw because I don't like sawing wood, like cross cuts through a bandsaw. Just like I quite like that. But for turning, yeah, oh, 100%. Yeah, whenever there's something that's spinning at like however many thousand RPM without me being in control of like the cutting action, yeah, I'm definitely more aware of
it's probably good to stay scared of them.
Yeah, 100%. Like, so I used to do a lot of farmers markets when those were a thing. And every now and again, I'd meet a fellow woodworker who was missing a digit. And every time they'd lost it on a power tool. And I'd get lots of members of the public, like they'd see me axing and they'd be like, "Oh, if you still got all your fingers." It's like, I don't know anyone, I mean, maybe you do, but anyone who's like managed to sever a digit using hand tools, because there just isn't really the force there compared to like a bandsaw.
No, I think you get the odd kind of, there was an axe in a leg at Spoonfest a couple of years.
Yeah. I think the worst injury at Spoonfest was to, I can't remember the guy's surname, but I think he was also called Tom. Broke his nose tripping over the guy ropes of my tent. Yep. So I felt, yep, my tent. It had to be someone's. It was mine. And so, I think I should have had my tent badge rescinded from the Scouts.
I don't think I ever got to go camping with I was in with brownies and then the guys. Oh no, we did actually. Yeah, sorry, I just remembered. Yeah.
I mean, I don't think we actually ever did either. Because I grew up in London, and the closest we got to having a campfire was that our scout leader put a flashlight under a bunch of logs, and then he handed out baked potatoes that he'd made at home. Yeah, dodgy part of East London. The only things on fire were cars. So.
Well, so you're not a country boy.
I am not. I am 100% a city boy. And so, are you a country girl?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I kind of grew up on the edge of a small town, kind of surrounded by farmland and sheep. Lots of sheep. Yeah, so I managed 3 years in London before I had to escape.
Yeah.
Didn't like it.
Totally understandable. Do you think your rural background influenced your love of crafts, or are those two things separate?
Yeah, probably because I didn't have any friends to hang out with. I spent quite a lot of time on my own. So I had a pen knife, and I'd go and climb trees and things, and what else? Yeah, and kind of do a bit of foraging, or I was interested in foraging. I don't think I knew quite enough to forage much more than blackberries and nettles.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was interested. Yeah, and my mum's very crafty. And my dad was very practical, kind of building house extensions and things like that.
Yeah.
Super practical.
Nice. So what were some of like the earliest things that you made out of wood with that penknife of yours?
Oh, I just used to shave bark off sticks. That's about it. I don't think it got much further than that. But I did have a little treadle jigsaw, which is the same kind of machine that I've got now.
Oh yeah.
Powered. So my dad bought it for me when I was about 9, I think. And I cut plywood. That was the only wood we had.
Yeah.
Plywood was horrible. It was splintery. Anyway, I used to cut things out of that and make jigsaws or like brooches and things like that.
Cool.
So it's when my kids got to about the same age that I had one when I was young, that I bought the one I've got now. But yeah, of course it was really for me. So yeah, I use that a lot for things like the heddles and little fiddly bits and pieces, cutting out things.
Nice. Is that your main power tool, or do you have other power tools in your process?
Oh, that's foot powered.
Oh, foot powered, sorry.
Yeah, the only power tools I've got are a drill, which I use a lot. I love my drill. And I've got an electric scroll saw because I thought that would take over from the foot powered one. But actually, it's not as good. So I don't use that so much.
What makes it not as good?
It's not as controllable. And it's a pain to take the blade off if you're doing pierced things.
Yeah.
You've got to take it and put it through the hole before you can cut the shape out. And it's pain for that. So it's not as good.
Not as good. Do you focus, is there a reason why you focus on hand tools over power tools other than they're better, or would you pick up a power tool if it proved better than a hand tool?
Yeah, I might pick up a power tool if it was better. I don't know, the pole lathe, using that was because I saw Robin Wood's bowls and I really like the quality of them.
Yeah.
And that's something I hadn't seen in power turning. Power turning was always very shiny and very polished and using exotic species quite a lot. So it just seemed like a different world and a different style. But there are people now using those Japanese lathes and things like that.
Yep.
And I haven't seen any work up close. That'd be interesting to see. Maybe I should get myself a bowl from someone who's turning on one of those Japanese lathes. Just be interesting to see if I can tell the difference. I don't know if I could.
Is Owen Thomas doing bowls on his Japanese lathe?
He is.
He is. Nice. Yeah, there we go.
Sharif's just got one.
Oh, nice.
As well. And Yoav's just got one.
Everyone's doing it.
Electric, yeah. But I haven't got anywhere to put one. So.
What is your carving space? Are we looking at it?
This is I've got an outdoor covered area, which is chestnut poles, kind of a shelter with a tarp over the top. So that's where my pole lathe and shavels are. And then in my shed, I've got my treadle saw and just a workbench for, cutting things, whatever.
Nice.
That's in my, cluttered shed. And then I've got this space inside, which is kind of a through room. It's just a room that links to the sitting room. So I can't get too messy in here because people come through. So it's kind of like my indoor space. And I use the kitchen table quite a lot as well. But I like to spread myself around the place. Yeah, so you've got your basement there.
This is an old garage. The windows are covered up because I've been doing some film work where I wanted to try and control the light. My buddy Derek, he worked in a photography studio, so he's been a terrible influence on me, like actually showing me what proper lighting can be like. And so,
my dad is a photographer, but I still don't know anything about photography.
And I feel super fortunate to have this space. It was just an old 1950s detached garage when we moved in, and I didn't do anything to it for my first winter here, which was a mistake, because it gets quite cold in Wisconsin. And so I've since insulated and put some plywood walls up and added a couple more windows, and so it's
right. It looks like you've got loads of space there.
I do, yeah. It's really nice. It's nice to have like a lot of room, and it becomes quite like I like to rearrange it for different stuff when I'm doing different things. Like at the moment, the pole lathe is pushed right up against the wall because I'm not turning, I'm carving. And I've got a blank wall that I try and shoot videos against. I feel really fortunate about this, especially since like my beginnings in woodworking, it was when I was traveling, and I love spoon carving because, like you said, you only need a couple of tools. And so I only had like an axe, a knife, and a hook knife, and that's all you really need. You can always find some stump to hatchet things out on. But now to have all this room, it's pretty lucky. So what would you say? Because carving quite a few different things these days. You know, you're turning bowls and spoons and making weaving implements. What's the weirdest thing that you've made out of wood so far?
Oh, the weirdest thing
Yeah.
was for my husband, who's just walked through. He's been playing hurdy-gurdy for the last year, and
cool.
there was a tiny little replacement part for that called a dog, which is like a tiny removable bridge. Yeah, so that's the weirdest thing. Tiny little thing from a little scrap.
A hurdy-gurdy dog.
Really precise. So I made
Yeah.
a few. Yeah, tried out ones with chunkier legs and slimmer legs and things like that.
That's pretty niche.
That's really niche. Yeah. That was really empowering to be able to do that, because he was saying, oh, I need one of these things. I'm going to go and have to buy some maple and a chisel and a plane. I was like, what?
Do you know who I am?
I kind of did it in 10 minutes from an off-top of sycamore.
Nice. Mungle through that. Yeah.
Yeah, what about you then? The weirdest thing you've made?
Oh, the weirdest. To be honest, I haven't made that much weird stuff. I'm quite boring.
You need to make something weird just so you can tell people.
I do, yeah. Like I carved an actual dog. I did a little statue of our dog Charlie, and that's not that weird. I just don't do much figure carving, so for me it was a little bit out of my.
Yeah, I haven't done any figures at all.
Yeah, no, I didn't enjoy it particularly, but I did it. Yeah, so that was an interesting point about, like, it was empowering. Do you feel like, aside from hurdy-gurdy repair, like, are there any kind of, for people who are perhaps thinking about spoon carving as a hobby, are there any like fringe benefits to green woodworking, like learning how to make things with your hands? Like you've found that you're able to repair your husband's musical instruments, like there's a sense of capability there. What other kind of benefits are there?
I think the community is a big benefit. So yeah, I mean, usually when it's not Corona plague time, you know, there are lovely get-togethers, really nice. Yes, I'm lucky that I've got kind of local ones that go on here kind of quite frequently, and then the big things, Fest and whatever. Yeah, but then even, you know, online it's still a nice community, I think. I think it tends to be pretty kind of supportive and encouraging, I think. I don't know, what do you think?
For the online community? I mean, I'm a part of it, so they can't all be that nice. Yeah, it's surprising. It's surprising to have like a very nice group of people. So I'm more active on Instagram than Facebook, and I quite like the people who interact with me there, because like I think I've gained a bit of a reputation for saying stupid things, and so the people who follow me feel comfortable to say stupid things to me, and that's always amusing to find ridiculous comments on my posts.
Entertaining posts.
Yeah, I've got my mind's a bit of a weird place sometimes, and it's nice to have an outlet for that, so I'm not just talking to the chickens.
Oh, we used to have chickens. I miss them.
Oh,
but now I've got my wood shelter in the place their run used to be. So when the fox got, like, chickens have gone. It's like space for a shelter.
Yeah. Oh no, the chickens have gone. Oh no, the chickens have gone.
Yeah. So we got a dog this year, a lockdown dog, like most people. Nice. Lots of people. Yeah.
Lockdown has been great for dogs. Like,
oh god, yeah.
I work from home anyway, but my wife's been working from home now, and so Charlie is never alone, and I don't think he's been happier.
Yeah. Well, we've got the kids at home with they've got online schooling at the moment. So there are 4 possible people who can take her for a walk.
Yeah, constant attention. So
Yeah.
you mentioned that you got involved in craft and like, you know, removing the bark off of trees at quite a young age. Have you been encouraging your children to get involved, or if you kind of just
Yeah.
step back and yeah?
Well, yeah, they don't really though. They gatherings. So going along, yeah, you know, Spoon Fest and whatever.
Yeah.
And they'll do some at events like that. But at home, they're not really interested because it's just me and the shed, and it's not as much fun.
Not as much fun as what?
As when there's lots of people around.
Oh, okay, right.
And all that kind of business.
Yeah. Do you like, how old are your kids?
Oh, 13 and 15.
Okay, so yeah, what would you say is like for someone who's a parent and looking to get their kids involved, what would be like the youngest age you'd be comfortable handing a knife to a child?
I guess you know your child, like how much coordination they've got and how much they're going to listen to instructions.
Yeah.
I think I started mine off when they were maybe about 5.
Okay.
Just doing chicken wings grip, first of all. So just do that, yeah. And only doing it for like 5 minutes at a time, because then their attention's gone. So as soon as their attention's gone, you like put it down and go to something else. Yeah, but I mean, they're both safe with knives now. They know grips, and I don't really have to worry, you know. So when they do come along to festivals and things, yeah, they've got the skills.
So your kids can now, they can tie their own shoes and they know how to handle a knife properly. So
yeah,
that's one of those skills that you feel people should just be able to know.
Yeah, it's good. And yeah, I mean, the whole kind of get-togethers and community part of it is really just so special.
Excellent. Cool. Well, if anyone wants to find out more about you and your work, is there a place that they can go to do that? I'm
on Instagram as @woodmongler, which is wood and then MUNGLER, all one word.
I can link to that using the magic of editing.
And I've got a website which is www.woodmongler.co.uk. Yeah, I'm on Facebook as well, although, yeah, I don't really update my page on there very much.
Fair enough.
So I want you to pay for advertising, don't they?
Yeah.
I don't bother.
Excellent. Yeah. Cool, because you're selling quite a lot are you selling through your website?
Yeah, and through Instagram, people get in touch. Yeah, I have quite a few commissions, which is nice. People get in touch wanting certain things.
Excellent. So for all the hurdy-gurdy players listening.
Yeah.
Yep.
I can do hurdy-gurdy dogs. Might be all different on different instruments.
Yeah, fair enough.
And he makes ones for that specific instrument.
Perfect. Cool. Well, thanks so much for joining me. That was a really fun chat to have with you.
Thanks so much for inviting me. That was nice. Yeah. Really nice to catch up.